Chile here with Sirius Dallas Moon, and we're continuing with the 2 meters from the eclipse theme. Now, Uranus Gemini is fascinating in that context because I talked about the gas chamber dynamics and basically the fact that girls, even in Jewish societies, were basically gaslit from infanthood and imprisoned because marriages were a form of imprisonment. And it's not that being unmarried and having, how should I say that? It's about alignment. It's not about the ring. So it's not like that thing would cause people to get secularized and sleep with everybody or anything like that. No. Now, it ended up in gas chambers, and the people that put people in gas chambers could not be held accountable because would actually have to change the culture to hold these people accountable. And in a society where that doesn't respect girls or the feminine is basically not a society that would find the people that put people in the gas chambers and hold them accountable. And as long as as girls can't be girls, then what happens? The reality is the same reality. Now, on another note, there are attempts right at this time to make people subscribe to things, to try to manage and control people's behavior in all kinds of ways, particularly psychological ways, or market behavior, or the industrialization of market behavior. But that's antithetical to the Aquarian archetype. Think about it. I just saw a place where they were saying, oh, you're going to get charging for your phone for free in this machine. You just need to put your credit card and you will get the money back when you take your phone. No, nobody's interested. Why? Because it tries to modulate the behavior. And nobody likes that. In Aquarius, it's met with a friction. It's met with something that is immediately sparking rejection. It's like, oh, you're going to get that for free. You just have to change your behavior. No. And there's something about the market behavior here that's not compatible to the reality. Because Rahu is going to go into Aquarius and people are going to unsubscribe by the masses. Why did I say Uranus is associated with actually happy marriages? Because it won't let people stay in an unhappy one. For the people who say, oh, Moldavite, I was afraid to buy a Moldavite because I like my girlfriend or because I like my boyfriend. It's going to happen anyway. If it's not the happy relationship for you, something's going to happen anyway. So if you're not going to get a Moldavite, somebody else will. Oh my God, Moldavite ruined my life. How did it ruin your life? This person left me, that person, what were you wanting with this person? Do your spiritual beliefs align with this person's beliefs? Are you compatible? Did you want to have a family? Yeah, I want to have a family, I want to have kids. with that person. Oh, Moldavite ruined my life. Okay, what happened? I was I was a consultant. Clients were leaving me. They were suddenly gone. Okay, what? Why were they gone? How did you usually work through your client consultant relations? Were you trying to create a trauma bond? Were you trying to create a safe relation? How? Were you showing them love that is actually loving? Oh, but they rejected that. No, they didn't. Were you the type of person who would be able to play a role of a person who is not actually loving and would agree to play that role? Well, I wanted to show them what. So they left. So your patient left. Oh, Moldavite ruined my life. Or something started to happen in the apartment. It was like, well, was this estate held by human traffickers or maintained by human traffickers? I get, well, what were you thinking to stay there? Were you thinking to keep paying them rent? Oh my God, Moldavite ruined my life. Where the tenants left and they left with, and then they didn't pay the bill. And we're like, were they paying up until then? Yeah, they've been paying like a Swiss watch. Was something else happening there? Well, tenant pays, so we try to leverage the deal. What do you mean leverage the deal? Try to traffic your tenant, so they left. Of course, they wouldn't pay you for being trafficked. You expected your estate to heal when you're raping your tenants? Moldavite didn't ruin your life. Now, a lot of these things, or a lot of the patterns in people, are going to really be exposed. Think about somebody who's offended over nothing. Okay, why are they offended over nothing? Do they hear something like a BCI that tells them that something is something that it isn't? Are they invested in that BCI thingy? We had an economy vlogger that had no problem to invest in the weapon industry. During the war with Iran, her mother was sick, a missile dropped a building next to her, and she was holding her baby, and then she just decided to stop doing economic vlogging. What happened? Her investment yielded. Karen in Taurus is the remediation point. A lot of us are going to see the things that don't compound. Probably even with Moldavite itself, the mining of Moldavite. Vesednitz is probably going to be a hotspot. So the reality of unsubscribing just when everybody was really relying or thinking to bank in on modulating people's behavior, not withdrawing Aquarius. Oh, we are going to get the clients used to leaving their credit card or paying for the credit card. Now, maybe with other configurations, that would be like, think about a company that wants to get people used to paying for charging their phone. When when the phone can be charged by solar energy, why actually? Oh, we want to fund a housing project with it. Profitable cities where tenants are raped. But what about the elderly? Is going to be what kind of assisted care will they receive with that type of economy? Now, probably each and every one of us are going to have their own system collapse. Something is not going to turn out as expected. Why? Because with Uranus, wherever Aquarius is and wherever Uranus process, something cannot be modulated, it cannot be controlled. And when something tries to hack into that, the results are unexpected because Uranus' role is always to liberate. Now, as long as a person was in unconscious self imprisonment, something is going to work as long as it gets them out of that imprisonment. But they're not going to get into a new prison. So let's think about this. Let's say somebody is in mental hospital. In mental hospital, they try to go out of that, but they're being spiritually attacked, and somebody assists them in releasing them from the mental hospital. Amazing. And they do a little bit of a revolution. They sunbathe their bum on the real estate. It's kind of like, hey, that's fun. But then they try to make of them what? Then there is a divorce settlement where a trillionaire becomes a billionaire. A company, let's say Meta, is litigated and held accountable for child trafficking. What actually happened? As long as it was about liberating a person from his imprisonment, something worked. But when it was about putting them in another prison, that will no longer be seen as liberation. And Uranus kicks that away. It explodes that. It responds weird around that. Think about the stochastic patterns of water. Where is the most risky to swim? in lakes, small lakes. Why? Because the water is confined. Yes, also in the ocean and so on and so forth, but people don't think that a lake is risky to swim in. Now, Aquarius is a fixed sign. And where the Aquarius was, how should I say that? I talked previously about the fact that gas chambers energy was about people trying to be vengeful in the victims. It's like somebody raped somebody, then they're vengeful towards the person that they raped. This is where Aquarius has an existential crisis. They are being broken down from within and they try to rebel the wrong. Okay, when they try to take the anger at the wrong person, think about it. Like, what is confiscating Aquarius? Only not treating well the feminine. What are they trying to rebel? What are they trying to get educated, agitators? Like, oh, this feminine is trying to enforce rules. No, the feminine is not trying to enforce rules on you. Look at the signs of the religios. Oh, but if your rebellion is harming the feminine, then you're not rebelling the religios. That's how my friends get into gas chambers. You say, oh, I'm going to be invested in gas chambers. Amazing. You're also going to take a shower. What is the antidote? The antidote could be at the sextile. Aries is sovereignty. Emancipation of the self is not a subjugation of anyone. Somebody came up really strong yesterday about everybody being, how should I say it, given the freedom that people want to receive. This is why trying to take away women votes wasn't achieving the result. Okay, men were creating their own gas chamber by doing that and investing in those that produce that. They take a woman that normally she would say, okay, that person wants to have a family, I have my issues, I need to move on to a bigger and better place. And then they try to prevent that person from having opportunities, better housing, better income, something that actually aligns with their sense of self. Then what's going to happen? This is why something is not working in people's favor is going to be met with a lot of friction. Now, this deacon in Aquarius, in a world that still has abuse or rape in it, is also a deacon that has to do with those type of behaviors that are self-undermining. It's a place where people try to make money at the expense of others. In the good sense, it can be a Robin Hood deacon, but it squares Beta per se, and this is where the friction is that Beta per se has to be appeased. Okay, I gave the example. Let's say there is a woman wearing a silver ring, and the rest of the women don't have silver ring. That woman is relatively sane. And people say, "Oh, we're going to take her silver ring." They have unlocked a female Pinochet. Because that silver ring was never there for showing status. It was never there for showing anything. It was on the moon finger that was aligning the mental health of that woman. Now that woman is pressing the buttons on the gas chambers. It's like, what is she trying to do? Is she trying to retrieve her silver? No, she's trying to retrieve her sanity. So what was actually to be done is to have all the other folks having. If all the other women were also having a silver ring, perhaps all the women were also what? Sane. What would be the taking from the rich to the poor? It would be looting the silver from the banks so that the people can buy food, but also giving it to the other women. Now, in a world where there's no rape and abuse in, those things are pretty obvious. In a world where there is, it prompts exactly the behavior and the collapse of the behavior, trying to modulate human behavior against what is actually good for them. It's trying to manage people. And if it's not actually in their favor, then people are going to unsubscribe. Think about a situation. A man turns to a woman and says, "You're this, you're that, you're going to be this, you're going to be that." It's like, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to kill the rapists? Are you going to kill the people that tried to take away the women? Well, that was the man that was trying to take the right of vote from women. It was like, oh, really? Then what's going to happen with your skull? It's going to be useless. Why? When a person is taking a shower in a gas chamber, his skull is already useless. Why? If he was using the contents of his mind, he wouldn't try to subjugate women. So if he doesn't use his mind correctly, the mind is taken away. Why? Because his reason was like, oh, if women don't use their right to vote right, then the rights are taken away. What? Were they really not using their right to vote right? And what did saying, oh, don't vote ever, is not suffice. What to do. And that what to do has to actually be feasible and working. Think about what happened during COVID. The 3 years of COVID. I know Saturn was for Uranus, but other than that, people were being in a lockdown, they were in their houses, or like, well, this house is way too small. The great resignation. The people say, okay, I need to move to a bigger house. They say, okay, I'm becoming an agitated person. Oh, walking barefoot on the land helps. Well, the land has to be fit for that. And there needs to be access to land. Oh, the fifth vital sign was harmed by the thing that they said was a vaccine. Means you go to the family doctor, so the family doctor begins to gaslight you. You say, well, I'm not listening to this doctor no more. Then women talk about orgasmic birthing, and then they're being targeted. I was like, wait a second. They trade infants. Oh, it's the trade in infant season again. Well, that needs to be bombed. Who the people that do that? I don't know. The people that the people that originated the idea, the gas companies. Oh, that would prevent gas chambers. Well, we're talking about gas chambers. Take a look at the sky. Well, why do people do that? Because they were the children that nobody came to save. Makes sense. What's the point of interference? Those are around the questions that we're going to be facing in this eclipse.